So in this video, I will review how to find a perimeter, area, and circumference of a square, rectangle, circle, triangle. Also, I will show you how to find an area, perimeter, and a circumference when you are only given small pieces of information. Okay, so let's look at this area and perimeter. You probably learned it. We've you kind of learned this in algebra, but I guess we can review it again. Okay, so here we have a square. And as you can see, a square has all four congruent sides and four 90-degree right angles, right? And yeah, so the perimeter is basically adding up all the sides, which is x plus x plus x plus x, but that could be shortened as 4 times x. And then the area is length times width or base times height. And in our case, because each side is x, it would be x times x or x squared. So perimeter is the distance around the shape, the shape. Okay, so a triangle is slightly different. The triangle, well, the perimeter is the same. You add up all the sides. So if this is side A, this is side B, side C. If you add them all up, you get your perimeter. And then the only difference is the area is the base, which is this length, and then the height, which is this length, and then times it by 1/2 or really divided by 2, right? So it can really be expressed as base times height all over 2. Okay, and then a rectangle is almost like a square. They're both quadrilaterals, right? The only difference is in a rectangle, not all four sides are congruent, only certain sides are congruent. So these two sides are congruent with each other. This side is congruent with this. So you have four, and then you also have four congruent angles. I mean, 490-degree angles. So the perimeter is the same idea. You add up all the sides. So if this is length, this is the width, this is the length as well. If you add up all of them, if you add them all up, you get 2 length plus 2w. And the area is same idea, length times width, base times height, same idea. Okay, now let's talk about a circle. A circle, their circumference is basically the perimeter, right? So the circumference of a circle is 2 times pi times r, or pi times diameter. So sometimes they'll give you a radius, sometimes they'll give you a diameter. Either formula works. And then the area of a circle is pi r squared. So yeah, the circumference is the distance around a circle, basically the perimeter. If you ever see the term r, it's radius. If you see the term d, it's diameter. You can find the diameter if you're given the radius by saying 2 times r, right? And then if you ever see the pi icon, that's an actual number. It's a real number. It's about 3.14. Okay, so on this example, it says, find the perimeter or circumference and area of each figure. So on example 1, what do we have? We have a rectangle. So what is the perimeter of a rectangle? It is basically perimeter equals 2 times length plus 2 times w. Do we know all my length and my width? Yes, we do. We know one of my length is 10 plus 2 times my width, which is 6. So that would be 2 times 10 is 20, plus 2 times 6 is 12, and that gives us 32 units. And then the area of this rectangle is length times width. So the length is 10, the width is 6, which is 60 unit squared. Okay, and we don't have to find the circumference because it's not a circle. Okay, what about this triangle? So they tell us everything we need. We have these side lengths, 6, 5, and 7, and then we have this height of 4. So let's find the perimeter. So you just basically add up all the sides. So 6 plus 5 plus 7 is 18 units. What about this right here? Area equals 1/2 base times height. Well, it's going to be 1/2. My base is 7, and then my height is 4. So 7 times 4 times 1 is 28. 2, which gives you 14 unit square. Okay, let's move on to number 3. So number 3, we have a half a circle or a semicircle, and we got to find the circumference and the area. So circumference is the same thing as perimeter. So it's C equals 2 times pi times r. So it's 2 times pi. We'll just leave pi alone right now. And then, okay, so sometimes they want like decimal. So if they do, you're going to replace pi with 3.14. But we'll just leave it as exact. And then my radius, so the distance from here to here is 8. So that would be 2 times pi times 8. That's 16. But do you see the problem? We're not dealing with the full circle. So if we're not dealing with the full circle, we have to divide this by 2. So that gets rid of this 2. So it's really just 8 times pi, just 8 pi. Okay, now what about area of a circle or a so what is the area of a semicircle, not a full circle? So the area of a regular full circle is pi r squared, but we're talking about semi, you're going to divide this by 2. So it's going to be pi, my radius is 8 square over 2, and then 8 squared is 64, pi over 2, which is 32 pi units. And then we got to square it. Okay, good. Next one. Here we have a rectangle. Let's find the perimeter and what else? Oh, I made a mistake. This should not be given. So yeah, we have this rectangle. We have a length which is unknown, right? We don't know this length, but we have this other width that's 6. So let's find the perimeter. So perimeter is 2 times length plus 2 times W. Yeah, so unfortunately we don't know the length, but we do know the width. So let's find our length before we go any further. So as you can see, if you split it here, split it in half like this, you form a right triangle. So if you have a right triangle, what can you use? Pythagorean theorem. Right, so this length is 6. Uh, and wait, sorry, this should have been given 10. That's okay, yes. This 10 was given. So but the length wasn't given. So how do we find this unknown length? If it's a right triangle, we could use Pythagorean. So let's call this length x squared plus 6 squared equals x squared, right? So x squared plus 6 squared is 36, and 10 squared is 100. Solve for x, so you subtract 3600. Yeah, x squared equals 100 minus 36 is 64. Take the square root of both sides, you get x equals 8. So now we know our length is 8. Okay, So the perimeter is going to be 2 times the 8 plus 2 times the 6. That is 8 times 2 is 16 plus 12, just 48. Okay, and found the area. So can we find the perimeter? Yes, we can. I mean, the area, sorry. We have the perimeter. Can we find the area of this rectangle? Yes, because it's length times width. So it's 8 by 6, which is 48 units square. And there's no circumference. Okay, let's move on to example 5. So it says find the area figure of the triangle where you have point A 3,4, point B 7,4, and C point C 5,7. So what we're gonna have to do is kind of draw it on the Cartesian plane. Okay, so 3 comma 4, 7 comma 4. So it would be, let's plot these points. 1, 2, 3. 3 comma 4, here's 3. And we go 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Point B is 7 comma 4. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then C is 5,7. Here's 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right here. You connect the dots A, B, C. Okay, what do we know? We got to find the area and the height. I mean, to find the perimeter, we need all side lengths. So we don't have it either. So what we have points, right? A is 3,4, C is 5,77, B is 7,4. So let's find the distance between A and B. So this distance here. How would we do so? We would use the distance formula. So if you recall, the distance formula is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So our 2 points, so from A to B, okay, so you have 3 comma 4 and 7 comma 4, right? So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So my x2 is 7 minus my x1 is 3. And then my y2 is 4 minus my y1 is 4. 7 minus 3 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. Square root of 16, which is 4. So the distance from A to B is 4. What about the base? And then, oh, it just says find the area, not the perimeter. So we have the base. Now, how do we find the height? So the height is what? I think we could just look at the points. From here to this point, how much is the total height? I think it's good enough where, because these are all simple, it would be a total of 1, 2, 3. So the height is actually 3 units height. So there's no too much algebra. So the area of that triangle is going to be 1/2 base, which is 4, and then the height is 3, which is 6 unit squared. Okay, let's move on to the next example. So example 6 says find the area of the figure of a square, and we give you this. So we're gonna have to just graph it on a Cartesian plane first. Five is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Point Q is 0.5, so that's 1, 2, 3. Point R is negative 5, comma 0. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Point S is 0, comma negative 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you connect the dots, there's Q, Q is forms a square. So what do we know about squares? All sides are the same. So if we just need to find one side, we're good, right? So what can we do? One, maybe we could find the side lengths from, I don't know, PS. So if you look at the point PS, it has a point of 5, comma 0 and S of 0, comma negative 5. So here's x1, y1, x2, y2. So my distance is going to be x2, which is 0, minus x1 is 5 square, plus y2 is negative 5, minus y1 is 0. 0 minus 5 is negative 5 square, plus negative 5 minus 0 is negative 5 square. Negative 5 squared is 25, plus negative 5 squared is also 25. So that is square root of 50, which can be reduced by what? 25. Can be simplified as 25 and 2. 2 is prime. 25 can be broken down as 5 and 5. So your final answer will be 5 radical 2. Wait, that's not our answer. That's just one of our side lengths, right? Now, what we have to do is find the area. So what is the area? Is base times height. So it's basically 5 radical 2 times it twice. So that gives you 5 squared is 25. Radical 2 squared is 4. 25 times, oh, radical 2 squared is not 4, it's actually 2. Right? When you square a radical, it just becomes 2. And then 25 times 2 is 50. So it's going to be 50 unit squared. Okay, so that was example 6. Let's move on to example 7. Example 7 says use the given measurements to find the unknown measure. A circle has an area of 100 pi centimeters square. Find the radius. So let's see. You have a circle right this, right? And it has an area of that. So what do we know about an area of a circle? Area is pi r squared. And what else do we know? We got to find the radius, right? And we know that the area is 100 pi, so we replace A with 100 pi equals to pi r squared, and then solve for r. So you're going to divide this by pi, divide this by pi, so you get 100 equals to r squared. Take the square root, and you get r equals 10. So find the radius. That's all they're asking. So the radius is 10 centimeters. Okay, let's move on to example 8. So example 8 says use the given measurements to find the unknown measure. A triangle has an area of 72 feet square and a base of 16 feet. Find the height. So if you want to draw your image, that's fine. Let's see, a triangle has an area of that and has a base of 16 feet. We got to find this height. So use what we know. We know that the area of a triangle is base times height all over 2. And what else do we know? The area is 72, so you could say 72 equals. And then we also know our base is 16. And then just cross multiply. So 72 times 2 is 144 equals to 16h. Divide this by 16. You get h equals to 144 divided by 16, which is 9. So my height is 9 feet. Okay, so that's how you do this problem. Just use what you know and then fill in what you have, fill in what you don't know. Okay, let's see. I think this is the last example. Yes. A rectangle has an area of 36 inches square and a length of 9 inches. Find the perimeter. So number 9, you have a rectangle. It has an area. So this is the length, this is the width. So what is the area of a rectangle? It's like length times width or base times height. And just replace area with 36. And then they're saying that the length is 9, but we don't know our W. And then solve for W, so divide this by 9. You get 36 divided by 9 is 4. Okay, if W is 4 inches, what else do we know? The perimeter, what are you asking find the perimeter? So the perimeter is 2 times length plus 2 times W. So it's 2 times my length, which is 9, plus 2 times my W, which is 4. So that is 2 times 9 is 18, plus 2 times 4 is 8. So my perimeter is 26 inches. Okay, yeah. So that wraps it up for this video. I'm going to stop here.